The village of Nkalu had existed for generations. It sat between rolling hills and a dense forest that stretched farther than anyone could see. The people of Nkalu lived simple lives. They farmed, they hunted, they celebrated together, and every evening the sound of laughter echoed through the village. To outsiders, it seemed like the perfect place. But there was one rule that every villager obeyed, a rule so important that no one dared break it. Every year, on the night of the harvest moon, everyone had to remain inside their homes from sunset until sunrise. No exceptions, no questions, no wandering outside. The elders never explained why. Whenever children asked, they simply said, "Some secrets are safer left alone." For many years, nobody challenged the rule, until a young man named Chike. Chike was curious, too curious. He believed every mystery had an explanation, and he hated being told what he could not do. When the harvest moon approached, he decided he would finally discover the truth. That evening, the entire village prepared as usual. Families finished their meals early. Doors were locked. Windows were covered. The streets became empty. Even the animals seemed unusually quiet. As darkness covered the land, the giant harvest moon rose above the forest. Its pale light washed over the village. Chike waited patiently inside his house. Then, when he was certain everyone was asleep, he quietly opened his door. The night air felt strange, cold, still, almost unnatural. He stepped outside. The village was silent. No voices, no footsteps, nothing. At first, everything looked normal. The huts were still there. The pathways remained unchanged. The moon shone brightly overhead. Chike smiled. Perhaps the elders had frightened everyone for no reason. He began walking through the village. But after a few minutes, something felt wrong. Very wrong. The village seemed empty. Not the kind of emptiness that comes from people sleeping. A deeper emptiness, as though life itself had disappeared. Chike called out, "Hello?" No answer. He knocked on a nearby door. Nothing. He pushed it open. The house was empty. No furniture, no fire, no belongings. Nothing. His smile vanished. Confused, he ran to another house, then another, and another. Every home was empty. It was as if nobody had ever lived there. Fear began creeping into his heart. He rushed toward the village square. When he arrived, he froze. The square was gone. The marketplace was gone. The giant baobab tree that stood there for centuries was gone. Everything had vanished. Only an endless field remained. Chike stared in disbelief. The entire village had disappeared. The huts, the people, the animals, everything gone. His breathing became heavy. "This can't be real," he whispered. But it was. The more he walked, the stranger things became. The familiar paths no longer existed. The forest seemed farther away. Even the stars looked different. Then he heard it, a distant drumbeat. Boom, boom, boom. Slow, rhythmic, coming from somewhere beyond the darkness. Chike turned toward the sound. Against his better judgment, he followed it. The drumbeats grew louder. Boom, boom, boom. As he approached, He noticed lights flickering between the trees. Lanterns. Hundreds of them. His heart pounded. Carefully, he stepped closer. And what he saw made his blood run cold. People. Hundreds of people, standing silently among the trees. But they were not villagers. Their clothing belonged to another time. Some wore ancient robes. Others carried spears and shields. Their faces were expressionless, their eyes fixed on the moon. None of them moved. None of them spoke. The drumbeat continued. Boom, boom, boom. Chike wanted to run, yet something kept him rooted in place. Then, without warning, every single person slowly turned toward him. At the same time, hundreds of eyes stared directly into his soul. The drumbeat stopped. Silence filled the forest. One elderly figure stepped forward. His beard was long and white. His eyes seemed older than time itself. When he spoke, his voice echoed strangely. "You should not be here." Chike tried to speak, but no words came out. The old man pointed toward the moon. "This is the night of passage." Chike finally found his voice. "What does that mean?" The old man sighed. "Long ago, this land belonged to those who came before your village." He gestured toward the silent crowd. "On this one night each year, the boundary between their world and yours becomes thin." The old man's gaze hardened. "So the village disappears." Chike's stomach twisted. "Disappears where?" The old man answered softly. "Somewhere safe." A chill ran through Chike's body. The elder took another step forward. If the village remained here tonight, both worlds would collide. The crowd behind him remained perfectly still, watching, waiting. The old man continued. "Your ancestors made a promise generations ago." "What promise?" "To stay indoors and never witness this gathering." The forest suddenly felt much darker, much colder. The old man pointed behind Chike. "Go home." Chike turned. To his shock, his village stood there once again. Every hut, every path, every tree, exactly as before. When he looked back toward the crowd, they were gone. The forest was empty. No lanterns, no drums, no people, nothing. Terrified, Chike ran home. He locked his door and waited for sunrise, the longest night of his life. When morning finally arrived, everything seemed normal. Children played outside. Farmers walked to their fields. Women gathered near the well. The village was exactly as it had always been. No one spoke about the harvest moon. No one mentioned the strange night. Later that day, Chike visited the village elder. The old man listened quietly as Chike told him everything. When he finished, the elder nodded. For the first time, he revealed the truth. Our ancestors protected this village long ago. Protected it from what? Chike asked. The elder smiled faintly. Some mysteries survive because they are respected. Chike never received another answer, and after that night, he never broke the harvest moon rule again. Years later, he became one of the village elders himself. Whenever children asked why everyone stayed indoors during the harvest moon, he gave the same answer he once hated hearing. Some secrets are safer left alone. And every year, when the giant moon rose above the forest, the people of Nkalu locked their doors. Because somewhere beyond the darkness, the gathering still continued, and the village still disappeared for one night. The end.